Welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, and today we're recording, I think, episode 211. And I say this very often, but I am very excited today because I have a good friend. I'm going to mispronounce it. Deidre, thank you. I struggle with it. Deidre Wright. Deidre, how's it going today?
It's going pretty good. I love seeing the struggle because it's like, is it Deirdre or Deidre? It's Deidre.
Yeah, and I have bad memory, so I know you've told me how to pronounce it several times, and I always struggle. And you're not the only person whose name I struggle with.
I let you too. You saw that. I was like, let me see. He gets it.
This happens often. So Deidre, let's start with the same way that I handle InsurTech founders. Let's have you give the spiel, the commercial for what you're doing, the service that you're offering, and then we'll kind of talk about your background, how you got there.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Tony. It's good to connect with you. So what do? I'm a personal brand strategist. So I help executives and entrepreneurs brand themselves to attract dream careers, dream clients. What does this mean? If you have a job that you want to transition to or that you want to grow into, how do employers know what your skill set is, your value, your worth? How do you negotiate that? Also for businesses, how do you attract clients, generate leads passively so that you are the standout brand in your field? So that's what I help people do. I help them publicize their careers to get the careers and clients of their dreams.
Personal brand strategist. Okay, so let me see if I got this correct. So if I had reached out to you 7 years ago and said, hey, I am thinking of becoming the millennials insurance guy, and I'm thinking on Superman branding it. Yeah. You could have helped me with that process. By the way, this was not a well thought out process. This happened largely by accident. But if I had the brilliant idea, I could have gone to you and basically got it and helped to do it properly. Am I getting that correctly?
That's correctly. So basically, I have a simple framework. I like simple because too much is just too much. So I help you clarify and define what success is for you. I help you establish credibility and communicate that to others. I help you network with supporters of your success because your network is your network. And lastly, brand yourself as a leader and build that reputation so you're known in your industry as the top dog in your field.
So there are elements of career coaching in there. You're not calling yourself a career coach, I don't think, but there are elements of like trying to figure out what success is for you and how to do it. That's very much career coaching in my mind.
Yeah, I call myself a hybrid between a career coach, a publicist, and a life coach because honestly, people come for external reasons. Oh, I want to grow my career. Oh, I need my company, the startup needs to hit more, viewers or whatever. But half the time, it's really the mentality and the mental work of you have to really own and know your worth. If you don't know that, have that foundation, no one else is going to see it or be attracted to you. So part of it's the mindset. Then once we get there, it's like, okay, how do we communicate to others in an authentic way? So you're humbly bragging, but people know this person's someone of worth their value and worth being on my team or worth hiring.
Okay, so the example that I used about myself, right? Like I've already got a very defined brand at the time. I wouldn't have been able to make the case of what I was trying to do. So right now, if I chatted yesterday, for example, with a friend who was he's a CPA and he was with a very major brokerage for 30 some years, and then he got downside late last year, and then COVID happened, so it's been hard to find a new role, right? And he's not quite 60, not quite ready to retire, right? Still has something to give to the industry, doesn't want to retire. He never thought that he'd be doing another search. So if somebody like that, if they came to the conclusion, you know what, I have the body of work and the experience, I just don't know how to market this. I wonder if becoming a little bit more of a public figure within the insurance accounting space, within the insurance finance space, if that would help. So somebody like that, he doesn't have a good idea of what he wants the brand to be. He just has a body of work to back it up. That's how would you approach a case like that?
Well, one, I ask, what do you actually want to do? Because what I find people get so, I'm just grateful, I just want anything. No, we don't come desperate. We come here dreaming. So what do you actually want to do? Is this what you want your legacy to be? Because my thing is, let's define your legacy and then reverse engineer how to get there. Okay, now that you establish and define how much money you want to make, where you want to be working, what kind of crucial job responsibilities or roles you want to do. Now we think about, okay, what are you bringing to the table? And let's really fully embody that, because so many people do so many amazing things, but they don't talk about it. So let's really identify and quantify that. And then we could do the branding strategy. Okay, I tell people you should be speaking, you should be doing thought leadership. You don't have to be an extrovert, but you do have to have some opinion and be an expert in your field. So that's what I encourage people to do, no matter what the personalities. Show your opinion, show your value, but really think about what you actually want to go after, because I feel like people, especially now, they get demoralized or beat up in corporate or whatever, but we should be thinking, like, what do we actually want to do, and go and pivot towards that.
Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of career coaching, life coaching here, with the added benefit of the PR side.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting. By the way, the way that we ended up having this conversation and making a podcast is I made a video last week. I think it was last week, about 3 career coaches I recommend, and I mentioned Amy Waninger as a bonus on that list. She's not an active career coach, but some of her stuff is very useful if you're trying to reinvent yourself, kind of thing. And so I included her as kind of a bonus mention. Yeah. And then she said, you should do a whole episode on Deidre. And I'm like, I never thought of Deidre as a career coach. I know that she recently left her last role, and she's doing something on her own, but I really didn't know what it was. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation. So let's talk. As you know, okay. So you're not specifically focusing this your new company on insurance people, right? Like, no. You're open to, but the audience, my audience, is very much insurance people. So one of the beautiful things that you bring from my audience's perspective is you come from insurance. You know our world, which is a weird world, right?
Right.
So kind of real quick, like what's the like the 5-minute career history you're experiencing within insurance?
My career, it's interesting. So I've actually worked in corporate for a while. So I worked in public health first, and then into marketing, because I like public health. But as people probably know now, a lot of scientists and doctors don't necessarily know how to market results in a way that people want to take action. For example, putting on a mask tantalizing. So I figure if I can help inform the public on how to better help themselves, I'll be better off. So I went to marketing right before I got to insurance, and I fell into insurance because I was broke and desperate. And then I ended up finding out that I actually liked it. And real talk.
So what you're saying is it's real hard to make a living early on in your marketing career.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a lot of instability, because it's like the first department that gets gutted during hard times right now. All the marketers
training
right now,
and marketing.
Yeah, probably. Again, they know. And so I got into insurance because I was second generation insurance professional. My mom was in risk management, so I was aware it was a field, but I had no idea what she did. And so I became a broker because everyone said, you'd be great at it, Deidre. You're very analytical, but I'm also social. So I was a broker at Aon in Marsh for casualty global risk management accounts. And then I pivoted into diversity because I started, well, I didn't notice. I experienced discrimination. I experienced situations, and I'm like, I'd rather be a part of the solution than the problem. So I started speaking out about it and getting involved in projects and things and opportunities like that. And then I went up working for Business Insurance Diversity Inclusion Institute. I was recruited to work there and had it in which I helped insurance companies across the field promote and endorse diversity inclusion. That happened up until last December. And then part of the aha moment I had is before this whole racial revolution going on, it was a hard time people seeing the value of diversity. I had a lot of leaders saying they couldn't find diverse leaders. Where can I find diverse talent? Where are they at? I'm like, they're all around you, seeing them, and more importantly, not valuing them. So what my aha moment was, instead of me trying to fix the companies, let me empower the people to show their value, give them options, and elevate their brands, because it's not, at this point, companies know there's a lack of diversity. They just don't care about it. So those who do care, you're seeing them take action, and they're profiting off of that too. So for me, I rather help empower the people through careers, through entrepreneurship, because I want there to be a diverse C-suite. And I'm not just saying just women or just minorities, but I want people to feel authentic in these roles and be their true selves and show their value.
Okay. So Aon and Marsh, so on the broker side, you basically can't. There's no bigger names, right? So yeah, you had like the deep, real insurance experience. Even at the level I've never had, right? I never worked at one of the brand name brokers. I've always been carrier side. And then the time that you spend with the business insurance, running the Diversity and Inclusion Institute, that like from my third party perspective, you were doing just crazy awesome work for them. Like I don't even know if it existed before you got there. I definitely wasn't on my radar before you got there, and all of a sudden it was everywhere. And I personally went to the conference in Chicago. And I was blown away. Normally in a non-COVID year, I do a bunch of conferences a year, and that particular one really was fantastic. And I know that one was your baby.
It was my baby. And I want to just add something, because for the context of the PR side, people like, what kind of PR, like what is their credibility? Well, before I ended up going to business insurance, I publicly spoke. And after, I not only spoke at different events, I spoke at events with celebrities like Barack Obama and Colin Powell. I would do, client training events. I also would be on podcasts like Profiles in Risk, often to market that. And then I planned a national conference. I had to book over 30 speakers. And on top of that, I would find and solicit diverse talent, and inclusive leaders to be quoted in the magazine. So I know what it takes to be seen as a thought leader, and I also know what it takes to be chosen. So as a Woman to Watch award judge for 2 years, I know how to write nominations for awards. So that's why I empower clients on how, if you want to be podcast, I can help you. I can do that for you. If you want to get awards, I can help consult that process too. So if you want to be that industry leader, I would like to leverage my expertise to help empower that and diversify who's being seen as a leader nowadays. And it can't only be men. It can't only be white women. It can't only be people who are fully able-bodied. There's got to be more diverse. It can't always be older people. I love mature people. I know there's ageism out there, but some young people are influencing things. So we got to be more open to what a leader looks like nowadays, because leadership is everywhere.
That is so very, very true. And so basically, for the listeners of the podcast, if you want to be a Rob Galbraith, if you want to be a Brian Falchuk, if you want to be a Tony Cañas,
an Amy Weininger,
exactly. If you want to be one of those voices that is having an effect in the insurance industry, you don't have to be C-level. In fact, out of the people I named, Falchuk is the only one that was ever C-level. And Rob and Amy were both VP level or AVP level, somewhere in there. I myself have never even been a manager, and
me neither.
And somehow, by sheer luck of my extroverted personality, my passion for insurance, and the existence of social media, I've stumbled my way into having an effect in this industry, and at times I run into it, and I see changes, and I get told by people implementing those changes how I motivated them to do those changes, or give them the tools they needed, convince them to do those changes, and it's kind of mind blowing. And the point is, you can do this too. Now, so you didn't happen to luck into the combination of personality and tech savvy that myself, Rob Galbraith, Amy, and Brian happen to have right by random luck, but you can hire a Deidre to help you do it. And I think especially within insurance, maybe in the brokerage community, it's a little more common because you're salespeople, but on the carrier side, there's this like institutional fear of becoming too visible. Right.
It's a mindset.
Absolutely, and don't get me wrong. Like I've been in trouble at Nationwide and at Liberty when I was at those companies for being too visible in ways that I hadn't been hired or trained to do, and I'm not the only one. Right, it's happened to many people.
It happened to me.
In the long term, it pays, right? And so the company you're at right now might be a little too traditional, but you make enough of a brand for yourself, you'll have growth, and you'll be so happy that just like what you were saying, wherever you land, not only will it be a better role and a better fit for you, you'll be able to be your authentic self, because that's why they hired you. They hired you
for you
because of amplifying your authentic self into a visible public brand, at least within the insurance industry.
And this, Tony does not know this, but I knew Tony was a leader when I first talked to him. So I don't know if you remember back in the days, I don't know if you still do this, but say at chats with Tony. Tony used to have it where you can book like, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20, 30 minutes with him and have like a networking. Like he would just put, I don't even know what you were doing back then. I know I saw you with the Superman shirt, but you were just kind of new and growing that brand. And I'm like, I got to talk to this guy because I have ambitions and I like his brand. And I'm, and I was still at broker. I was at Marston or something like that. And we talked, and yeah, you weren't a manager. Yeah, you weren't C-level. But the fact that he put himself out there, shared his thought leadership, like that's a leader right there. When I say people can lead plug to Amy, lead at any level, you can really lead at any level. And so that's when I saw Tony as a leader. I know he's big time now. I know you're big time now. But like that's when I was like, man, like this guy he's onto something. And so I teach clients, and not necessarily that, but that's one tool. How do you network with people at all levels? You don't have to be a big wig to do it, but you have to be available. And you have to put yourself out there.
And it worked for me. And again, it goes back to there was no master plan. If I had set out with a master plan of doing what I did, it probably wouldn't have worked unless I had really good guidance. But on my own, like there was no master strategy to it. I was just kind of following my heart and being who I am, just letting myself be who I am. But I've said it on the podcast many times. I have a dream job right now that I hope to do for the rest of my life. I don't even want to be promoted to like manage my team or anything. Now, I want the AVP title. I've told this to my boss a few times. I want the AVP title, but I don't want to be a people leader. It's just I've learned that's not my thing. But the reason I have this job is because of the visibility I gained. Like literally, the CEO of the company, Greg Jacobson, read my book. We started a conversation, and he ended up hiring me. Right, and so it directly. I didn't apply for the job. I built the brand that made me a perfect match for the job, and they found me.
Ditto. That's with me, with Adam. Like I didn't apply for it. He emailed me, and shout out to Adam Potter. Like, hey, I saw you speak on stage at Woman to Watch. I like what you said. You want to talk about this opportunity? I'm like, doing diversity work? Like, and at the time, like I said, it wasn't as chic as it now. So I'm like, this might hurt my career because some people don't value diversity. But I knew it was my passion, and I knew it was my calling. So I'm like, let me take this pivot and jump with it. So it's interesting. Like I said, you can lead at any level. You can do anything you want to do. But part of it's mindset. You have to really think, what's my value, what I want, and go after it. Because it's like, I'm kind of getting now more woo-woo as I get older, especially during this pandemic, which is kind of like dog years. I don't know if it's like 7 years through 1 year, but I'm getting
2020 has been many years long. Yes.
Is it still this year?
Yes, exactly.
But part of it's manifestation, and people think, oh, that's all vision boards. No, it's really defining goals and going after that and putting it in the universe through your branding. How do you manifest and attract what you want from the universe? Now, if you out there with a lame LinkedIn profile, not networking, you're not going to put anything out there but nothingness. So if you want to attract nothing, go ahead.
I call that the State Farm syndrome. And the reason I call it that is because when State Farm downsized 4,300 people 3 or 4 years ago, I put out an article saying, hey, State Farm, former State Farmers, we can help. Please reach out, let's chat. And what I found, I had conversations through chat with Tony with hundreds of State Farm people. And I found people with CPCUs, with CICs, with CICs, with CLUs, with CHFCs, with 20 years of State Farm experience, and 122 LinkedIn connections, or like a LinkedIn profile without even a picture, right? And just they were holding themselves back, and now they need a second act for the rest of their career. They never thought that they would have to find a job outside of State Farm, so they never worried about building a network outside of State Farm. And reality changed underneath their feet, right? There was an earthquake underneath their feet, right? You're in California, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know, earthquakes and fires, man. It's a lot going on.
We haven't had an earthquake in 2020, I don't think, so we should knock on wood, right?
We're still in earthquake season. 89 happened in October, so don't jinx us.
Earthquake season. Anything can happen at any time. I'm from Costa Rica. So yeah, I have my own traumas with those things. I'm sorry to bring them up, but
State Farm syndrome.
Right. So State Farm syndrome, right? And I think it's very common within insurance, right? I'm heads down. I do my work. I do it well, and the company has always rewarded me. Well, why not invest in, right? And you know what? You should. What's the saying in the book? Drill your well before you need it, or build your well
for you're thirsty.
Yeah, and I think that personal branding, professional branding is a great way to do that, to grow your network and get your name out there as a thought leader in whatever you're passionate about. I think that there's a perception, especially on the carrier side, that I can only talk about what I'm an absolute expert in.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm an aviation underwriter, I can only talk about aviation. I can't talk about anything else. And the reality is, you don't have to be the world's foremost expert to make a difference.
You sure don't. And I think also part of it's interesting with clients, because I work with individuals. I also can work with corporations, do trainings. I've done trainings like that, and I say that because it's a perception. If I help my employee with their personal brand, they're going to leave me. My thing is, are you willing to have bland, not captivating employees at your firm, and so you're going to reject possible clients and prospects? Like, to me, it's you're so lack mindset that you're not trying to abundantly attract bigger clients, bigger brands to you, so you don't want to invest in your employees. It's like you want the B team forever. Like, I would want the A team. Like, and so I tell people, it's like there's value to your brand, your company, because people, especially insurance, they work with people, not necessarily companies. Brokers, that's why I wanted to be a broker. So I know if clients love me, they'll follow me. That's just how it is. Like, they'll follow the broker. They don't follow the company. As long as you're in the top two, then you're good. If you go to another level broker, I'm sorry, they're not going to probably follow you. But I say that because that's what it's all about. And also, like, organizations. I mean, I think about the CPCU. I think about you, Tony. I think of Precious, Norman Walton. And I think you guys rebranded CPCU as something fun and not stuffy. And I mean, I'm just being real. And so as organizations have opportunities, hey, if people, one, I would say, how inclusive is my organization? If I look at the demographics at conferences, does it look like America? Yes, no. Are all my attendees over the age of 50? Okay, then maybe I have to think about personal branding for our organization. How is our leaders talking about this in a captivating and interesting way to recruit new members in our society or whatever? And I'm not picking on CPC, but it's a lot of organizations and insurance in the world.
Every insurance organization, and I've been to conferences for CPCU, for NAMIC, for PCI, now APCIA, for a whole CAS, PIA, PIAA, like a big I, like you name it. I've probably done the conference, like short of the Vermont, what are they called, captives organization. Short of that one, I've done most major organizations in insurance. I've either attended or spoken at. So Vermont captives, if you guys are listening, right? I'd love to. I've never been to Vermont, so I'd love to. So anyway, like I've done or at least attended at least one event for RIMS and just about all of them. And yeah, unfortunately, always, this is not something against any organization, especially not CPCU, and they're all making efforts, but yeah, the crowd of the conference is always less diverse than the reality of the industry. And sadly, the industry is also less diverse than the reality of the country. Right.
Yeah.
And so lots of work still.
But there are a lot of diverse professionals in the industry who are underutilized, underestimated.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing too. And so I would like, if I can, I want to also talk about some good stuff. I know this is mostly good, but some client success stories, because
yes, awesome.
Because I know we were talking about the year, and I said I'm having a good year. I mean, personally, I am, but it's been because I've been seeing clients kill the game, do a good job. Like, I've had 3 of my clients get dream job offers for their dream jobs that actually manifest and say, I want this, and they got it. Even one with a title we even dreamed up together. All either got title raises or scope or equity, or literally 20% pay increases during the pandemic as Black women. And so we talk about pay disparities, we talk about gender disparities, we talk about no one can get a job right now. And I know it's hard. I'm not underestimating that. but I've seen people do it by defining what's going to make me happy. How do I communicate my value, and how to connect with people who are actually going to support that? But I also have clients who want to, increase their influence in their industry, to share the value of social emotional learning, how we have to get in touch with our emotions right now during a crisis in the education and business and other world, and also the equity with that. And she's got quoted in New York Times because of her influence on LinkedIn. And so I say this because everyone can be a leader. Every expert has an audience waiting for them. So are you waiting to build the audience? We could be building it today by just showcasing your value, your expertise, and your interests. Like, now is the time to really bank on yourself, because people are getting dream jobs. People are getting dream features. People are speaking on podcasts and increasing their value and their brand and their influence right now during a pandemic.
I've had at least one podcast guest, and that directly got a job because of appearing in the podcast. And what I love about her story is that she's very young. She's very, very, very young, and very passionate about what she does. And I brought her on. I'll link the podcast in the show notes. But basically, Miranda, I met her at Gamma. I thought that the fact that she was both an independent agent and an RMI student at the same time was interesting. And she calls herself a hybrid, and she had made kind of a brand of being the hybrid independent agent / RMI student. So I brought on the podcast to talk about that. By the way, if you're listening, one of the things that I'm big into is I don't care about your job title. If you're in insurance and you have something interesting to say, I'd love to have you. So you don't need a VP title to come on the podcast. So anyway, so Miranda comes on the podcast. It goes live. Days later, she gets a call from Westfield Insurance, and they invite her. It was more than invite her. They ask her to interview for a flawed sales manager, and they openly tell her, "We heard you on the podcast. We'd love to have you." She interviews, gets the job, and like she skipped like 2 levels by coming on the podcast and being passionate, right? And again, like myself, she's just natural at it. But if you're not natural at it, this is where we're bringing in a Deidre to whisper on your shoulder and help you figure out what you want your brand to be, and whisper on your shoulder how to make it happen. It pays off. You're muted, by the way.
There it goes. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, because a microwave was going off, and I'm like, I don't think you want to hear that. You're like, is it a bomb? Is it a microwave? Is it a hot pocket? I don't know. We don't know. So
Bomb or Hot Pocket sounds like a great game show.
First of all, Hot Pockets they're way worse than bombs. You put that in your mouth when it's boiling hot, you're gonna wish it was a bomb. Anyways, I would say with that is, and also, I mean, out there, we're a headhunter or executive search firm, like a Jacobson Group. We can partner together, because what I find is there will be talent out there who have a great background, but they need a little polishing or a little bit of, just confidence coaching to kill it and get that job. And so I'm not trying to take anyone's job when it's on the career coaching side, although my job is complementary towards that. And I say that because sometimes people have that great background, they just don't have an elevator pitch, or they're too stiff, or just something's not kind of right. So if you're a recruiter out there, like, I know a talent who needs some help, I'm happy to partner with you to make that happen, because I feel like a lot of people have invested so much in their technical skills, they never got the soft skills. They undervalued them, or never learned, or never got the right mentorship to even say, hey, dude, you need to get out the desk and actually go around to the water cooler and have some conversations, because that's where your job opportunities are at. They're not on the laptop. They're not online. They're with people who actually know about the jobs.
I was very, very lucky. My dad, who is not known for great advice,
Sorry, Dad.
Did say very early on, like my very first job out of college, his one piece of advice was, it's not just getting the job done. It's getting the job done and making sure the right people know how well you're getting the job done. So I've always had that in the back of my mind, and very wise advice. Given the many bad advice he has given me in my life.
Hey, but that one advice.
Exactly.
That one paid off, though. That was how
exactly.
So it's like 5 bad piece of advice, 1 good one. I think you got the good one.
We're good friends. It's okay. So yeah, that most people didn't get that piece of advice, right? In fact, what I have found here in the U.S., it's a little odd. for me coming from Costa Rica, but here in the US, there seems to be, and I've lived most of my life here in the Midwest, so it could be a Midwestern thing, but insurance is very heavy in the Midwest. So
yeah,
right.
good sample size.
I've definitely seen a lot of I was raised to work hard, right? The personal work ethic, the Midwestern work ethic, keep my head down, work hard, keep my head down, right? Don't make noise, just work hard, keep my head down, right? And that advice might have been great advice 30 years ago. Today, I really don't think so. I think that you have to invest in your brand.
Right. And I would like layer, and like I said, that's one thing is geographic location. Like I said, because I'm from California. I'm from the Bay Area. We're really laid back. And then I also lived in Atlanta, where people very social, and you live in Atlanta, very social people. It's like I think about the movie Beauty and the Beast, and like bonjour, bonjour. That's like Atlanta, but y'all, there's
Southern hospitality, yeah.
Yeah, very much so. But you layer in like gender and cultural things and all kinds of background. Like for example, I have one client who's from an immigrant background, talked about like culturally she was taught just to be grateful, just to get the high paying job. Like passion's not something that that is a necessary factor in job search. And so even going to like, let's talk about this, and like, do you actually want the job that you love? Also, women telling, don't be too braggadocious, or people think that you are assertive or whatever. And so I say it's layers to this. So part of it, we have to deconstruct these concepts in our brain. I know for me, I was told to be grateful. Like you have a corporate job, be grateful. You shouldn't ask for more. And it's like, well, I want more. Should I feel guilty for wanting more? And so I say for some people individually, ask yourself, is this mindset actually benefiting me? Me being quiet, working hard, not talking about this, is that actually benefiting me? If it is, cool. If it's not, maybe you should leave it alone because it's not getting you where you want to go. And so it's hard though. I really say, find your support circle. I'm actually created a Facebook group to have a social circle of people so we can talk about personal branding, talk about your career goals are, your business goals. Let's have people support your branding and applaud you for actually getting accolades and growing, because I find that that's one of the biggest barriers. They don't have a network of people in their family, their community to help support them. And so if you don't have that, I'm happy to facilitate that network so you can feel like I can be supported in my authentic leadership self and brag about, in a humble way, what I'm doing to progress my career.
If you are listening to this podcast, you deserve career growth. And what I mean by that is you are not just a corporate ghost. I don't know how to call it. You're not just a 9 to 5, do the bare minimum, get paid and leave. Or you don't think that way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't have found me, right? So you're investing in yourself already in at least a small way of listening to this podcast. You deserve career. Don't feel guilty about that. And if you do, like work with somebody like Deidre to help you get over that.
Yeah, that should be a part. Part of it, I think it's you. To your point, you are worthy. That's something I tell and I say. It's like my man. You are worthy. You are worthy of a career investment. You are worthy of actually having a job that pays you and fulfills you. You are worthy of all this stuff. You have to just know and own that power.
That is a brutally important concept. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody put it in such a succinct way. You deserve a job that pays you and fulfills you. And here in insurance, finding a job that pays you is not super hard. No. Finding a job that fulfills you, that's trickier, right? There's tons of jobs that are fulfilling, but job fulfillment is a lot more about personality match.
Right. And there's so many jobs in insurance, so it's like part of it's also mindset that it's okay to have a lateral pivot. It's not always about up and down. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's like, so that's the thing too. What are you willing? Because I was speaking last week at Insurance Businesses Women's San Francisco event, and someone asked the question like, have you ever had to take a step back to grow your career? And I'm like, I never think of anything as a setback. Am I to learn different skills? I can now, like, dude, I can edit videos. I can do social media, make viral social media campaigns. I can do diversity consulting. I do personal brand consulting. I can pitch people for public speaking. All these jobs all together made me right who I am today. So nothing's a setback. Nothing else. People perceive my roles as setback because they didn't see the value of my work, and I'm not here for them. So those who see my value will see it and really appreciate the work I do. So I'm not here to try to please people with my titles, my roles, whatever. I'm trying to please myself. So my question is, like, what are y'all doing to please yourself and build a legacy that you can be proud of for yourself, your future generations, and whoever, really for your eternal self, saying, I can rest at the end of my life knowing I really fulfilled my passion and I feel happy with that.
Love it. And you touched on something that I think is crucial, and it takes most people until they're well beyond 30 to figure it out. And I'm 37 now. I'm gonna be 38. But
wow, baby face.
The secret is no kids.
Yeah, right.
That's the secret to stay.
I got grays now with the baby.
So I started getting grays back when I was married, and then we got divorced, and like most of them went away. And I've been with my girlfriend for 7.5 years, but we're very happy.
This distance learning has got me more grays with my 7-year-old.
Oh, dude, yes,
I'm surprised I'm bald.
Everybody. So anyway, you touched on something that I figured out very early on. Just random luck. And this is not everybody's gonna like you, right? You'll have detractors. Like there is the only way to never be disliked by anyone is to do absolutely nothing ever. Right. So don't worry about the detractors. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you, and those that support you, those that cheer you on, those that push you to grow and be better and be more of who you really want to be.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. And that's the thing. I'm not here for haters. I'm here for lovers and supporters of my success. Like, if you're always it's the whole mindset and abundance. And I know you're like, what's this woo-woo stuff, Deidre? Well, woo-woo is what's going to get you to the next level. And it's like, if I'm focusing on the negative, I'm only going to attract negative because all I can see is limited opportunities. If I focus on there's opportunities over here, and I know the ROI investing in myself is going to get me there, that's not an expense, that's an investment. These people who are pushing you and giving you critical feedback to improve yourself, they're not haters. They're actually supporters. So it's part of its mindset and what are you willing to do to really invest in growing yourself. So I'm just really happy. I know you, Tony, because I feel like you've always either pushed me like through your coaching or through just seeing you out there, just being your full self. And I think for me, I've been really blessed to make a lot of insurance friends on the internet who really pushed me and grow and supported me, like Amy, and like most of y'all I met online first. You know, like it's been years. We met for the first time at the conference last year. We had known each other for years.
Yeah, correct.
If you're not open to meet people on the internet and really putting yourself out there, you're missing on a lot of great opportunities.
Even if you work at the most toxic small agency in rural Montana or whatever, like even if you work in a place that is ridiculously conservative, like I had one of the agencies that I visited back when I was an American Modern sales manager, and this agency was kind of in the Central Valley of California. People think of California as a very liberal place, and Central Valley is like the Midwest, right?
And up north sometimes,
And the north piece, the state of Jefferson, is like Montana. So anyway, this particular agency was in the Central Valley of California, and I visited them, and the agency principal. Like I sat with him in his office, and his desk is set up in such a way that he's looking down at you, right? like it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And right away, like you could tell that like working for this guy would be no fun, right? Like he's been doing this forever, and he runs the agency like it's the Stone Age, and he doesn't want to hear it, right? And even if you work for an agency like that one. And you have no support internally among your coworkers, find it elsewhere, right? Find it in the Insurance Nerd Slack channel. Find it at the local Big I. Find it. Build your network, right? Find it in the Insurance Pros Reddit subreddit, which I'm not supposed to mention in public.
Well,
we don't talk about Fight Club. It's
okay.
number one rule.
But shout out to the Insurance Nerd Slack channel. Like I said, I'm building my community now, but I would say they've been riding and dying to help support insurance professionals.
It is
for a
such
while,
a supportive place.
Jumping. It's just a jumping. I will admit I'm not the best with Slack. I'm slacking on my Slack, but that is like a hotbed of opportunities of like social interaction. So if you are a Slack person or you're insurance, you're interested in passionate about insurance, you need to join that, because I'm telling you right now, they got a lot of great opportunities.
Thank you, and especially if you don't have a network, please join the Slack channel. We'll help you out. So in the show notes, I will. We've got like 3 minutes. I need to get you out on time for your next call. So in the show notes, I'll include Deidre's LinkedIn profile. I'll include your
Facebook community, which is called Personal Branding for Personal Branding for Industry Celebrities. So
send me a message with that. I don't know how to find it. Send me a message with that.
Okay, I'll send you that. Yeah, and why Facebook? Because it's a good way to vent and be inspired without your potential employer seeing it. LinkedIn's a little too hot right now. So if you want to be able to have support and share and vent,
I like the way you think.
Tips, let's go to Facebook and take the after party over there.
Take the after party. Okay, I love that. And I'll include the link to the Insurance Nerd Slack, which is insuranceslack.com. Deidre, you've got like 2 minutes. Any final words for the listeners?
Yes, I would say this. Right now, define what success looks like for you. Do not think about your limitations. Think about your opportunities. Really own in on what your worth is. Think about that, your value. Find a circle of supporters. Like I said, we told you 2 different resources right here. There's others out there. Find people who are going to support your success and uplift you. And then put yourself out there, brand your expertise, brand yourself, and get that next opportunity, whether it's a dream client or dream career, to help you feel fulfilled and know that you are living aligned in your purpose. So that's what I got to say.
Beautiful. And with like the 1 minute we have left, what would you say? It might not be leaving enough time to do this, but what would you say to the Wells Fargo's of the world, the companies that, regardless of size, that think they can't find diverse talent?
What makes you think you're worthy of us? You say you can't find Black talent. What makes you think you're worthy? First of all, let's just say that. Like I'm glad you can't find us because we don't want you.
Okay. What if I'm ready to change, right? What if I work for a really old-fashioned company, but the leadership is changing. We're bringing a new CEO, and he's ready to really jump into the NNA.
Yeah.
Should we give you a call?
Yeah, give me a call. I'm also here if you want to create an inclusive and diverse company to grow your business. Like I said, I don't think about morals. I think if you want to grow your business through inclusion, diversity, and equity, call me. I'm willing to give you tips to actually improve things sustainably and systemically.
Beautiful. So, Deidre, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tony.
There's really nothing left
mic drop
to say.
and high five. It's been a good one.